Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 22nd day of February, 2024. Well, 22 is a master number, it's the cosmic builder, so profound soul level change, maybe? I always I'm always eager to see what comes out comes to light, I should say, in our lives on master number days, whether it's 11 or 22. Obviously 33 isn't part of the calendar, but anytime you see those numbers, you're looking at very powerful energy. That's very transformative. With the 11, you're looking at awakening and enlightenment and illumination. With 22, again, it's the cosmic builder, and what can we manifest, and then 33 would be Christ consciousness. But they're all higher vibratory energies that can influence everything around us and influence. It's a strong soul level or higher self level of energy and awareness that comes through. So we'll see what happens today, what we can manifest, and from that standpoint of higher awareness instead of the ego. So I just drew the Elder Futhark rune for the above side, the higher self side, and we have Rado. Rado is rider and horse. It's that integration, that movement, that momentum. It's the fifth rune of the Elder Futhark, and it's the idea of harmonious movement, that integrated movement that you get. If you've ever ridden a horse, you know what I'm talking about. Eventually it becomes almost instinctual they're so connected, the horse and its person is human, and they become so connected that there's almost like an intuitive type of a slight touch, and the horse knows where to go, right? It's that kind of integration and harmonious movement, rhythm, cycles, justice. It's also, though, valuing the process over the goal of something. So it's not so much where you and the horse go, but it's the experience along the way, the collaborative, the integrative experience along the way. So we could be looking today at something that involves a collaborative situation with other people, or again, valuing. I just really like the idea of the process over the goal, making sure that is what's really driving you. The goal is always important, but how you get there matters. And so maybe something like that will come up for you guys today. Let's see what we have here with the Geomancy runes. Oh, well, this is interesting. So we have Rado and we have Conjunctio, which is union and joining. So now we know that we have a something collaborative here or integrative happening today. I'll show you here what Conjunctio looks like. And then if you look at where is it? There it is. If you look at the 22, if you separate them out, you've got 20 and 2, you've got 2 and 2. Well, you look at the 2 individually, the 2 is about balance and reciprocity. So you double that together, then you're really on this higher level, this higher vision of what that should look like with all of us together, because we're all one, essentially, right? If you think about it on the soul level, we're all one because we're all aspects of the Creator, so we're all one. And so this this is exciting today. This is dovetailing with the 22, with Rado and Conjunctio. There's Conjunctio, it looks like a little hourglass. And so this is union or joining. So we're not only collaborating from higher self, but also on the physical plane as well. And bringing the 22 together, looking at it in terms of the cosmic builder, what will we manifest in terms of that awareness, that higher awareness of oneness, of unity, of integration with other people? So, okay, well, cool. So let's see what the cards have to say. Give us a little bit more information. Give us the details of it. Like always, I've already done some shuffling here to get ready for the reading. It's kind of meditative to shuffle. Sometimes you just shuffle cards just to do it. I don't if you work with tarot cards, you just shuffle and shuffle and shuffle and shuffle. There's something comforting about mixing up the cards, I guess, anyway. So anyway, let's go ahead and cut the deck, and then we'll take the lower half, and we'll take 3 cards. Okay, well, the collaboration may have something to do with material security here, because we've got 2 cards from Pentacles, and then we have 1 from the Major Arcana, Temperance. Let's go ahead and do the... let's see, I did not write those things down from last time. 2, 2, 4. So we've got Rado. I'm just going to do it right now so I don't forget. Conjunctio, Temperance. We have the 4 of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles. So let's see here. Let's do the numerology. I'm going to get the calculator app out here on my screen. Let's see. So we have a 5 for Rado. Let's see. Plus, let's see, 14 for Temperance, which is also 5. Plus 4, plus 2 equals 25, so 7. Let's do that one more time. So we've got a 5. I'm just going to go ahead and do 5 here. 5 plus 4 plus 2 equals 16 is 7. So, okay, it both comes down to, because I went ahead and instead of doing 14, I just did 5. Because 14 reduces to 5. 1 and 4 is 5. So that's, if you don't know how to do numerology, that's what you do. If you have a dual number or any, you just add them all together, and you can either just take the actual number and just add it all together of everything, right? You've got a bunch of numbers, so you're going to add them all up together. But the idea is if you have a 2-digit number, you're going to add those 2 numbers together to get the final number. It's called reductionism. So anyway, you're doing reduction. And so basically, yeah, we have a 7 numerology. So again, balance. Okay, observation, magic, spirituality, justice. It's the scales. It's letting things settle out before you, and observe, right, while that's happening, before you truly understand what's going to happen, you know, what the real issues are, what's really happening in that moment. Letting things settle out before you make that judgment about it, before you decide what's really happening here. But I think you've got this weighing out, and I'm not sure how I want to do this in terms of the order of these things, because in a sense there's a weighing out with all 3 cards. Maybe not as directly as in the 4 of Pentacles as say in Temperance and the 2 of Pentacles, but you know, but you've got the angel here weighing out, you know, balancing out. Temperance means moderation. And so, you know, you've got the angel who's pouring water from one cup to the other, right? And it's basically balancing will or fire with water is essentially what it's doing. You see the glyph for fire here on the angel's gown. You see the sun coming up between the 2 peaks. Again, anything that's 2 on a card in the tarot is going to indicate either going through like a moderation or balance, or it can mean decisions as well. But there you again, you know, like with this, you're weighing out a decision having to do with material security and all. It's and again here you're balancing, you know, you see water in the background with Pentacles, that's earth. So you're going to see a lot of different, even though a card may represent one particular in one particular suit and therefore one particular element, you're going to see in these cards more than one element. And here, you know, you really have, you see also earth as well involved in this, because you see the 1 foot on the land and 1 foot in the water. Again, the sun's rising between 2 peaks, so it's a new day. You see the path going up and going up there to greet the sun in between the 2 peaks there. You see two water irises here. So again, there's a sense of balance, of creating balance. And here, the idea with will, balancing will with emotion, generally speaking, water quenches fire, it reduces fire. Whereas air ratchets fire up. So if you had, if you were balancing swords with wands, for example, that's a tricky situation there, because air is probably going to increase the intensity of the fire, right? But with water, and coming into a balance, having some moderation about it, it's basically saying, no, you're getting out of control here, so we need to come back into some kind of balance. And with the 7 numerology for the reading, the 22 energy for the day, I think that this strong thing, in other words, if this is a collaborative experience, you've got to control your will a little bit. You've got to control your impulses. And so extending some compassion and respect and love to the people that you're working with, viewing them as partners instead of in the integration found in partnership, than someone you're trying to vie for position with. Trying to tamp some of that down and understand the need for the whole idea of with Rado and process over the goal. You're not vying for position in that type of scenario, especially with a rider and horse. Ultimately, the rider has to get control of that horse. But once that happens, you're moving together in integration with each other. Let's move on to the 2 of Pentacles here. Here we see a juggler. As opposed to the 2 of Wands, for example, where you've got the woman sitting with her bench, her back against the water, sitting on a bench, and she's blindfolded, and she's got a sword in each hand, and they're crossed. She has to make a decision in a dispassionate way. Here, in a way, he's weighing things out. There's an integration between what he's doing as well, because you see the lemniscate there, the kind of like a drive belt, if you will, if you know anything about machinery. You have a belt and they wrap around the cog or whatever, and they're going from one thing to the other, and they're keeping the engine going, right? They're keeping everything moving. They're connecting the engine or motor to whatever it is that the machinery is there to do, and so and keeping all those moving parts moving and in balance with each other so that it operates properly. Well, you see the water on the background here is the waves are really big. You see a couple of boats out there. And you've got kind of a dual line here, and he's away from this whole emotional situation. So he feels emotional about what's going on here, about this decision that he has to make about his material security. So maybe he's trying to weigh out, do I take this new job? Is it going to be good enough for my family? Is it going to be enough to support me, if I don't have a family? But will it be a good thing, or will it cause some emotional consternation? And so he's turning his back to the emotions of it, just like in the 2 of Swords. She's doing the same thing. She turns her back to the emotion of it all, as is this guy, and he's trying to weigh things out from a practical standpoint. So there could be something here today that you're essentially having to control who you are within the process. If it makes sense to be the leader of it, that's one thing. But if it doesn't, if it's a situation where you're vying for position, that's only going to impact the situation in a negative way. It's not going to be something that's going to be welcome necessarily. If it already is that way from the get-go, because everybody recognizes your leadership skills, that's one thing. But otherwise, no, it has to be something where you need to control the will and you need to have the emotion in there to do that, so that you understand that everybody has a voice, that you have that level of understanding. Understanding is a very water-oriented type of thing, right? And so you want to have the understanding that you're all in this together, that you're all contributing to the final outcome, and that's the process that needs to happen here today. And in the end, here you have the 4, which is the double of 2. All right, but here you have the king sitting again away from the kingdom here, just like the decision maker here. The juggler is away from the emotions, right, away from the water. And you kind of have the same thing here. The angel is turning its back on everything else that's going on in back of him. Whatever that new path to higher awareness is here, with the path going up between the 2 peaks meeting the sun, that could be thought to be higher awareness. But here, the 4 is often thought of as miserliness. Now, the end result here too, though, could be that it's taking a conservative approach. It just depends on what this card is paired with. I mean, this literally could be he's sitting out there showing everybody the wealth of the kingdom, defining just how wealthy, and what a good job he's done to preserve that wealth for the kingdom. That would be one way to look at it. You could look at this, he's stepping on the coins, he's holding fast to the other one, and this one's up on the crown, which is, well, he's a king, so what else do you expect? But the bottom line is that he may view this as his money and not the money of the kingdom. And so he's very miserly about that. It belongs to him. He's going to hang on to what he has. But on the other hand, if you're trying to make a decision in the 2 here about maybe a new job that you want to take, or a move that you want to maybe make to a new place. You've already gotten the job, and you have to do things in a very practical way. The 4 is about practicality, and realistically, that's also implied in the suit of Pentacles and the Earth element. To do things in a very grounded and practical way, responsibility, reliability, meeting your needs in a way that is going to preserve the family, for example, the family structure, if you will. You could have here, because this is a magnification of the 4 is the magnification of the 2, it's the double of the 2, then maybe what he's trying to suggest here, maybe what the king is trying to suggest in the 4 of Pentacles, is that the decision that you have to make, that you're going to be making here, is going to have to be one that's practical and sustainable for your family. And to keep, so it has to be the type of decision that's grounded in reality. In other words, the reality of the needs of the family, or just of the individual if there is no family. If you're on your own and you're considering another job, well, is it going to be enough to sustain you? Do you have enough resources in the bank to cover you while you wait for the first paycheck to come in? Or if you can't get insurance right away, do you have enough? If you've got some medical bills or something, or a person in the family or yourself who's seeing a doctor regularly for a particular condition, are you going to be able to pay for all of that while you wait for the other insurance to kick in, if that's a factor? So there's some practical decisions that have to be made, likely having to do with possibly a job, or maybe you want to buy a home or something, but it's something that's going to disturb your grounding, you disturb your foundation enough that you've got to make a decision that's practical and that makes sense, and that you can rely on, and that is the responsible thing to do here. And what the angel here is talking about in Temperance, the idea of balancing will with emotion, and the moderation that comes from that, is that you don't want to let your ego get away from you here and go ahead and take something without really doing your due diligence to make sure that in fact that's going to be a positive thing in your life. There's a lot, it sounds to me like from what I'm looking at here, that there's other factors, especially with the 4. You could look at the kingdom as if this is you could look at the kingdom in the background as your family, as your responsibility, as your home, as just your basic life. And is the decision you're going to make, is that going to in fact be a positive thing? Or do you need to go back and do a little more due diligence to be sure? It's the idea of weighing things out and coming to balance with it. So again, with the 22 numerology for today, then, there's your profound manifestation, isn't it? It sounds like whatever this is significant in your life. And could really either make or break what's happening. And so, again, control the will, control the fire within so that you're not making a decision that's impulsive. Weigh things out and do it with an eye toward practicality and the responsibility you have potentially to other people in your family. It's like if a parent comes home and says, "Oh, I quit my job today," and the other parent's going, "What? You did what? And where are we going to get money to feed our kids? You don't have another job to go to." That's an example of fire getting away from you, the will getting away and doing something impulsively instead of, kind of leveling things out. Step back and take a look at everything with the 7 numerology for the whole reading. Understand the integration you have with other people here. Who's going to be impacted by the decision you make, right? But understand that there is a sense of community or joining or unity here. So we started out with the possibility that this was a collaborative effort, right? We started out that way. But I think when we look at the cards here, you might be able to dovetail them into it. But to me, looking at them, it just seems like, even if this is a collaborative effort at work, and you need to look at it in a practical manner, it could be that as well. It just feels to me like this is a little more personal, and that the impact you're going to have by the decisions you make are going to affect your home life and the structure you have and the foundation and material security you're looking for yourself, looking to have for yourself and for your family if you have one. But even if it isn't a collaborative experience, it's not letting the impulse control or lack thereof get ahead of you in that type of an collaborative environment, that integrative environment. It could be that. But I think when you look at the 2 and the 4 of Pentacles, this seems more personal. And so if this doesn't apply to a collaborative experience you're working on or you're working with at say at your job, if it's not something like that, the integration and collaboration is with you and the responsibilities that you have toward others in your family, or to the people that you're renting from, or if you're going to buy a home and you don't have a family, the responsibility you have to have the money to be able to do that. So it could be, you could look at it that way as well. But honestly, I think that this has more to do with controlling the impulses within, so that a decision that you have to make that affects your material security is a practical one, is responsible, and thinks about other people that are involved. Your integration is then with the family that you have, essentially. Makes sense? So anyway, I think that's it. I don't think I want to necessarily go in the direction of some kind of collaborative experience with others in terms of work. I don't think that it's that. If you can find some relevance that way, though, then by all means, it's going to involve keeping your impulses under control and weighing and whatever the collaboration is, weighing things out in a way that with an eye toward responsibility and practicality, to where you're not going in a direction that's going to get yourselves into a place that you really can't come back from, that there'll be too many consequences for. So it might be one way to see it that way as well. But realistically, I think it's more personal. And again, taking the path of that's more balanced and aware, and choosing something that's going to actually preserve your security in life, instead of something that gets you out there and that's not sustainable. So that's it. Very cool for a Thursday. Well, listen, thanks for, I appreciate everybody coming by and subscribing. If you haven't done that yet, I hope you will, and give it a like if you want to. If you don't want to, that's okay too, but subscribing is a lovely thing to do. It just lets me know that what I'm doing here, people are finding interesting, and that maybe it just opens their eyes to other ways of thinking about things. I'm not really about coming up with anything too specific, although today I sort of did. I really think that this has to do with something a little more specific than general, really. But I think it can apply generally as well. So, but thank you so much for coming by. And if you've been doing this for a while, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. You know that I do, if you've been here before, you know that I write a blog called Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. Things go up on the blog on at the midnight hour, actually in the first 5 minutes of the midnight hour, on Sunday mornings. And so look for that to come out. The forecast for the week, the correspondences for work and magic for the week. There's an astrological overview as well. And then it's just sort of a list of things, of where the moon's going to be each day and where the sun is and the other planets. I deal with the 7 sacred planets. So. And then also I'm coming to the end of the Exploring Tarot series. And after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may do an herbal thing. I've been thinking about that. And we'll see, though, how that goes. I'm still writing a book, another book here, and I'm still in the process of it. So it's kind of been going back and forth about it. And not sure I'm going to publish it. And then, oh yeah, I'm going to publish it. And my husband's like, oh yeah, just publish it. You need to publish it, and I think I finally decided the other day that yes, I'm going to finish it and I'm going to put it out. And when I finally do, I'll explain to you why I was so hesitant. For some of you who know about such things, you might already anticipate it when I tell you what it's about. But until I'm ready, I won't. I never talk about them in specifics until I'm ready to publish, and then I do. But I think I will finish that here. Hopefully by midsummer it'll be done, or maybe before. It's about halfway done, or maybe better. But it's only one part of it. So the other stuff I still have to put together, and I mean it's all laid out, but I have to go and alter it and edit it and all that, So anyway, that's what's going on there. Because I just wanted to mention it because I've mentioned it before, and people are like, well, is she ever going to publish that book? It's like, well, yes, I am. So anyway. But again, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll come back on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.